You're watching the Sporting Time Show with host Doug Thompson. Sponsored by Jewelry Barn and Pawn Shop.
Good evening and welcome to the Sporting Time Show. I am Doug Thompson and I am super pumped about this show as my cameo guest host this week is an orthopedic surgeon for WKONA Graves Gobert. I want to welcome in Kirk Fee. I almost said Coach Kirk Fee.
Well, that was a long time ago, whenever the boys were little. But yes, but thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Honored to be here.
It is great to have you here. There is not enough time for you and I to do all the questions that I have for you, but it is super fun to have you here. But first, I want to ask you, why orthopedics? Why become a surgeon? Was there somebody that mentored you or kind of got you in that direction?
You know, interesting question. I had an athletic background growing up. Basketball was my thing, and I played in high school and played in college. I always knew that there was a pathway or a purpose to serve somehow, some way, and I figured the best way to do it was sports medicine. So whenever I started playing college basketball in Memphis, I wanted to stay there, and I always thought that orthopedics and being a sports doctor was great. I worked with some great folks in medical school. In residency, my pathway changed where I like bigger surgery and joints and trauma and things like that. But I have to admit, I've been very blessed. I think God's laid me out a pathway, to try to help make things a little bit better for people, and that's why I'm very, very fortunate to be in medicine, to be able to use my gifts.
So you have been a surgeon since 1997? Is that correct?
Correct. Residency is 1992 to 1997, and I did my training there at University of Louisville, in the orthopedic department there, and then I've practiced here in Bowling Green since 1997. Yes.
So since that time, you have seen an incredible amount of change, right, in technology,
Yes.
in imaging, and talk a little bit about that.
It is. I think we've been blessed here in Bowling Green with our hospitals and the technology, and it changes, daily, monthly, yearly. It really does. I think whenever you're an orthopedic surgeon, either operative or non-operative, we deal with people in motion, and we deal with all different walks of life, whether it's pediatrics or high school sports, or joint replacements, and whenever people are getting older. So, as a surgeon, yes, it's your job. It's your calling to really try to stay on top of the things, and really it's about offering people here in Warren County the same technologies that we have, whether it's Nashville, Los Angeles, New York. That's why it's important to us at our orthopedic practice to try to stay on the edge of things. It's for the citizens of this surrounding area.
Full disclosure, you are my orthopedic surgeon, and one of the things that impresses me, not only the way that you do surgery, but your bedside manner. Because I used to be a high school athlete. I used to be this. I used to be a weekend warrior. Now I'm in that other category where I'm older. But you understand, and I think it may be because of the kids that you have and you're involved with sports, but you understand what people go through when they get ready for surgery, and you really have a way of putting me at ease, and I have a high level of anxiety. So,
got it. Well, thank you. I tell you, I would attribute that to the way that I was raised. My mother and father, obviously, I think that you put that into perspective as you get older. But the way that you treat people, the way that you listen to your patients is a big deal. I think the important thing, again, sort of harping in on sports, and I can talk about sports and how it transitions to medicine all day long, but when you consider yourself part of the team, then your leadership and guiding someone through comes from different platforms, and we see that whenever we see patients. It's not always you go to the doctor and the doctor spits out what they're going to do. This is a team approach to try to make you your best self. And I think whenever you understand that, whenever you sit in a room with people, that it helps, and I think it helps to try to make things just as good as they can be.
Yeah, well, one of the other things, we're going to take a short break, that I noticed right off the bat the first time I met you was you don't come in there with a pad and start looking at the pad and not engaging with your patient, and I really appreciated that. But When we come back, we're going to talk sports specifically. We're going to take a short break. But before we do that, we've got some time here. We're going to talk about sports. We're going to talk about how you played sports and how you also interact with high school athletes. And I've got several questions on that. We're going to take a short break. More of the Sporting Times right here in WNKY, NBC 40. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Well, my guest this week is one of the most successful young coaches in the state of Kentucky, high school coaches. He is the head football coach of South Warren Spartans. Brandon Smith is my guest. Coach, welcome to the show. And it's great to see you. I know you are super busy, and it's tough to get you to do these kind of things. So I really appreciate you coming in today and doing the interview. Having a fantastic season, Coach.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, and I appreciate the young compliment too. You know, I mean, I'll take it every time I can get. I feel like I'm starting to get up there a little bit, or last couple of years are aging me a little faster than I want to. But no, we've had a good start to the season, and really proud of the kids and the way they've handled everything, the way they've been competing, and hoping to continue it on.
Well, from my perspective, you will always be young, even though you're in your 8th season. And let's talk about that a little bit. First of all, and I know you don't go and you don't look at your win-loss record. You're more concerned with the end game. You've got goals, and obviously there are goals that you've achieved often. You're 83-12 right now for your overall record in 8 seasons. Incredible. You were a state runner-up in 4A in 2014. You won the 4A in 2015. You won the 5A in 2018. And I know that you are incredibly dedicated to strategic looking at game film, breaking down teams. Kind of talk about how you prepare, and because it's really something.
Well, I think that's something that, and it's not, it's a lot more than just me. There's a lot of guys behind the scenes that have been here a long time that, always kind of make me look smarter. And, but that's something that we take a lot of pride in. We think that's an advantage for us in the way that, we prepare and kind of, the tedious stuff that we do to try to get every advantage we can, and that's the goal of, we're probably never going to be the most athletic team, in the grand scheme of things. So anytime, any little advantage or tidbit here and there that we can do to help us out or give us an edge here and there, that's kind of what we're shooting for.
So from season 1 to now in the 8th season, do you change at all as far as your preparation goes, or the way that I think technology has changed in 8 seasons, but have you, as far as I know you put in 12-hour days on some days to look at film and break down things. Has that changed at all?
Yeah, we've actually changed quite a bit, honestly. I mean, technology has definitely changed things. When I first started, we didn't have Huddle, and obviously that's a game changer. That's changed everything. But I've always wanted to be kind of a progressive and an open mindset. I think really early on, I decided that I didn't want to be one of these guys that, are never going to change. In 30 years, they're going to do it the exact same way they've always done it. And so, we try to adapt every year. And, we really have. We kind of look at what's out there, new trends, new technologies, and, how can we be ahead of things in that realm. And so we really do that a lot. And, if somebody that was in the program, 5-6 years ago probably wouldn't even recognize how we do things now. And we might do too much of that, might do that to a fault, but that's kind of just been my mindset, over the years.
Coach, we've got about 60 seconds left in this segment. I want to ask you about a young man, Caden Velkamp. Obviously, you were a quarterback at WKU 2007 through 2009. WKU really didn't throw the ball very much. But you've got a young man that's slinging it around. He averages about 150 yards per game. His completion percentage is 70%. Talk a little bit about him.
Yeah, I'm really proud of Caden and the strides that he's made, and I think the physical tools have always been there, but mentally, I think the game has finally started to slow down for him some, and he takes deep breaths out there and kind of scans the field and understands what's going on. And the last couple of games, he's done a really nice job of getting us in good situations and good plays. That's half the battle. Offensively is having positive plays and not taking a bunch of negative yardage plays.
Yeah, he's exciting to watch. He's certainly a tall quarterback, one of the largest in the state. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, more with Coach Smith about the South Warren football program. Stay tuned. More on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back again. Brandon Smith, the head football coach of the South Warren Spartans, is my guest. And Coach Smith, I got to ask you, your father is a legendary high school football coach. He is now on your staff helping you out. And, when I grew up, my father was an entrepreneur. He was a printer, and every night we would sit around a dinner table and he would talk business and shop and this and that. Is it that way when you were growing up with your dad as a coach, where you sat around a dinner table and you just heard him talk about strategies and football, and were you engaged in that kind of atmosphere?
Yeah, I was, but I wanted to be too. I had a strong interest in it from an early age, so he always did a good job of not forcing that. It was always me that brought it up, but when I did, he would go all in, and enlighten me and work with me, whatever, sport it was. And like I said, most time it's football, but, he wasn't overbearing about it. He always did a good job of separating that and family time. And then, like I said, I showed a strong interest. So, he helped me out, for as long as I can remember. And obviously, I caught him at a good time when he's a little bored and got him to come out there and help us this year. And, it's been a real joy. I think the biggest thing is I've realized, how not good of a coach I am now that he's around, and you see how it's really supposed to be done.
Well, I don't know about that, but I do know that it's got to be extremely fun and enjoyable to have your father a part of the staff. I get to work with my son. I know a lot of father and sons duos over the years that have coached together. But it's got to be as much fun for him as it is for you.
It is. It's been a lot of fun, and it's nice. Really, it's nice having them in town. I haven't ever been in the same town as them, since I left high school. But just kind of having that bond is something that you can share with. And like I said, he's been a tremendous help, and kind of there's some things that you forget along the way and over the years, and just. Kind of a constant reminder of what's really important, on and off the field. And so it's been a great experience so far.
Yeah, well, I had the opportunity to interview him several years ago, and just a great interview and a super person, and I'm glad he's on your staff. Coach, I do want to transition now to a big game this week. We talked to Mark Spader several weeks ago about rivalries in the area, and obviously Bowling Green and South Warren has become one of those rival games that everybody looks forward to, and the players seem to get up just a little bit more for that game. You have them this week. Kind of talk about that game in general as far as rivals and having really two powerhouses separated by 5 miles.
Yeah, I think I agree with what you said. It's really turned into, in my opinion, I think it's probably the best in the state. We're in the same district, so that adds a little more, flavor to it than if we weren't. But, both programs have been at the top, and, when you have two teams that, legitimately could win a state championship in their class, every year they're in the same district. You know, that just adds a different element. And nothing's going to last forever, and this won't either. But you know, I think from the fans' perspective and the community perspective, you know, you have to enjoy it while it's like it is. You know, because I think kind of the phase we're in, the stage we're in right now, is something that, you know, people, and especially the players and the ones involved, will talk about for years and years to come. And like I said, I just think it's special. It's fun. You know, there's pressure, but it's one of those things that you enjoy being involved in. And like I said, you can look back years from now and say that you're a part of.
Yeah, no question about that. Coach, we got about 45 seconds. How has being a dad kind of changed your life? What is it like for you as a football coach?
I'd say the same way it has everybody that's a father, but I love it. You know, I couldn't imagine doing anything different. And it's definitely a little more time consuming, a little more stress, but I wouldn't change it for the world. I love every bit of it.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, it has been a great pleasure to have you on the show again. I know you're super busy, like all the coaches are, mid-season. Good luck this week, and look forward to having you back on the show again. Say
Thanks.
hi to your dad for me as well.
Will do.
All right.
Appreciate you having me.
Thank you, Coach Smith. All right, we're going to take a short break. When we come back, Dr. Fee and I wrap things up right here on the Sporting Time Show on WNKY NBC 40. Welcome back. I want to thank Coach Brandon Smith for being my guest, and also want to welcome you back, my co-host today, Dr. Kirk Fee, WKONA Graves Gobert. You know, he's an incredible coach. You know, a record
he's
of
done a fabulous job out there.
83 and 12
Yes.
in 8 seasons.
Yes, he had football in his baby bottle, I
He
believe.
did.
Correct?
He did. He
and now has his
absolutely did.
father coaching, which, you know, when you talk about sports and the influence on our personal lives,
Yeah.
I can think of probably no better feeling than whenever he wakes up and gets his cup of coffee and his dad's out there helping. That's
It's
a
gotta be
great
amazing.
story.
Yeah.
Great story, yes.
You know, how much did sports influence your life? You know, not only during the time you played it, but did you carry that through? You know,
Oh, I did. I carry it to this day. You know, growing up, you know, our thing was basketball. The school that I went to actually did not have a football team. Growing up, we were so small. So both my little sister, Courtney, who's a high school principal down in Tennessee now, we both played small college basketball at Christian Brothers College. And yes, it influences you whenever it teaches you the values of teamwork, teaches you confidence. I can say just personally that, yeah, it teaches you that you can handle anything. I knew if I could handle Dave Luce, you know, and I hope he hears this interview.
We'll tag him in on it.
Tag coming at me that I knew I could handle surgery residency. I knew from the toughness that I gained from sports, if I handled surgery residency, I could handle any other personal tragedies that I've had in my life. And so it instills in you a self-confidence that you want to hammer every kid, every position, whether you are a reserve, whether you're a starter, that the humility and the self-confidence that sports teaches us can be very, very valuable once you step off of the field, because that's what a lot of people don't understand. There's going to come a time whenever you're not playing anymore. And it's the values that you learn in sports and how you translate them, you know, into your life is what I think makes a huge difference.
Yeah, it's very powerful, and you know, you interact with, again, all ages, but specifically high school sports. You know, we see a lot of ACL, MCL with female athletes, but it's got to be extremely difficult to have a senior who gets injured early in the season that you have to break the news to that, you know, we have to do this, or this is your path, and their season is done for high school.
Playing college sports, you do, I think it gives you a sense of perspective of timeline. So if somebody is in the 8th grade, then you are able to help them.
Yeah.
You know, the mental approach to sports, the mental approach to surgery is just as good sometimes, you know, and just as important as the physical is. If you're in high school, yes, you know, I think that being a former college athlete has, you know, given me a platform to help those things, whether it's they're coming off the field at Greenwood and you know, the coach is on them and you're still there able to kind of at least, you know, help build them and help support them, whether that's through injury or whether that's through performance, you know, and as an orthopedic surgeon, a former college athlete, I understand both of those. And so I tell you, I love my time on the high school sidelines. I'm grateful to Greenwood and, you know, Principal Hatcher out there for at least just letting me come and participate. I enjoy it that much.
I'm the same way. I love being on the sidelines.
Yeah.
In fact, I get a little bit too close to the field because I love being around the action. I love being around them.
I know.
We've got about a minute and a half left, Dr. Fee, and what is maybe a suggestion for people, for young athletes to maybe think about before they start engaging in a sport, that, you know, before a game that they can do that might help them? Stretching, you know, what is there something that they can take away from?
You know, I had a conversation with a young lady this morning, actually, who had been off for a while with an injury and was trying to return to soccer. As in most things in life, you know, we tell patients, look, don't go all in. Your conditioning is important. It's like the old quote that you have to be willing to prepare to win, you know, in order to win. And so the preparation and the discipline, you know, and all of the work before that is so important. So whenever you are conditioning in the summer heat, whenever you're, you know, doing your stretching exercises, running up and down a gym floor, and it's September and you're getting ready for the season in December, or whether it's July in football and you're getting ready for, you know, August, September football, you know, the gradually, you know, getting into that and that regular discipline and that regular preparation is key. And it also makes us, you know, important whenever you start to getting at our stage of the game. You know, we tell our middle-aged and older athletes, don't do this suddenly. You have to wean into this. Very, you know, be slow and smart and steady. That's the name of the game.
And some listen to you, and some don't.
Not everybody listens to me, actually. As the father of a house of teenagers, correct? Yes, but we try.
Well, Dr. Fee, this has been a great pleasure. Please come back and see us again.
Hey, listen, I'd love to come on. Sports, I can tell you, it's a huge part of my life. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. We got to wrap it up. Thank you, Dr. Fee and Coach Smith. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Have a great week.
All right, bye-bye.